Hey everyone, I'm Tom and welcome to the Orange Chronicles, where I chronicle what I have been up to over the past week or so. As always, you can let me know what you have been up to down below in the comments or in the Discord that is linked in the description. And with a little bit of a change of pace this week, we're going to go ahead and start with what I finished. But instead of it being a novel, which is normally what I do and read here, it is actually a comic book. And it is one of the best comics I have ever read in my entire life. It is in contention for my all-time favorite comic ever. And fortunately for me, it is a Superman comic. You can probably tell, big Superman fan here, but that would be Superman Up in the Sky by Tom King and Andy Kubert. And this was just an absolutely fantastic time. I have had a bunch of people who have also read this comic really tell me I should read it, especially after how much I really enjoyed Superman for All Seasons, which is kind of like this and that are contending for my favorite comic of all time. I know Jesse from It's Lit Book Reviews told me I would absolutely adore this one, and he was right. This was just brilliant in so many different ways, and this is definitely a comic that I would hand to somebody and say, hey, you've never read a comic before in your entire life. This is a decent one, I think, to start with, especially if you're really curious about Superman. Superman is, I think, one of the most misunderstood superheroes of all time. I think most people think of him as he's just the super overpowered guy who comes in, punches stuff in the face, and he saves the day at the end because he's stronger than everybody, right? And Superman is so much more than that. He stands for these ideals and just things that I just resonate with in so many different ways. And I think this comic and For All Seasons, which I've already mentioned, these are just two comics that I think show to me what Superman stands for, to me what I like to see in a Superman story. It has this emotional impact, this care, this hope, this empathy that I really just think that like so many people miss when they think about Superman, and it's easy to do because I think it's really easy. Just like I said, he's just this dumb guy who goes around and punches things as hard as he can, and it fixes the day in the end. And he is so much more than that. There's a reason he is my favorite superhero, right? Like he just like stands for and does these things that like just work for me so well. And I actually have like just like this one little page I want to read out of here, and hopefully I can get a good picture of it so I can have it on the screen for you guys as well. But I think this is just like a little bit of a taste of what this story is doing and just like highlights exactly what's going on here. So it goes, being faster than a speeding bullet is a contradiction, but Superman is faster than a speeding bullet. Being as strong as a locomotive is a contradiction, but Superman is as strong as a locomotive. Leaping tall buildings in a single bound is a contradiction, but Superman leaps tall buildings in a single bound. A person flying is a contradiction. No one can fly. It's impossible. But Superman, he flies. Having hope when there is no hope is a contradiction, but Superman always has hope. The world is full of contradictions. They're stupid and they suck, and they stop you when you shouldn't be stopped, when you should be going, when you should be running and running and running and running. You're stopped in a stupid, sucky contradiction. But no matter what you do, how much you try, or even cry, or even do anything at all, there's everything and everything. But Superman, but Superman, but Superman. And in the greater context of this story, I think that is just one of the most beautiful pages in a comic I have ever read in my entire life. It's just something about like, no matter how bad it seems, there's always hope. You can always keep going forward, never give up, keep going. And that's just like a theme in something that obviously works for me super well. And it's something that in these Superman comics that I have read, when they get onto this note and really show that like he is doing this not even just for himself, but for others. And he's this beacon of hope and everything that you could want. I don't know. It works for me so well. Like I said, absolutely. If you have never read a comic, this is definitely one that I would recommend to you. You can pick it up, read this. It's all self-contained. You don't have to worry about like the lore of something or the continuity of everything. Just pick this up, read it, and enjoy it. The art is also really good in here. I always enjoy good art as well. And yeah, Tom King is just a genius. I think the way Tom King is able to hit on some of these emotional moments in comics just puts him on the level of some of like the best writers in any medium. And I think comics is definitely one that is a little bit not talked about enough here. There are definitely some channels and places that do it here on BookTube, but I'm glad I can lend my voice and maybe push some people to read some of these amazing works of art that are happening outside of our normal bubble. And also, they're super short. Like this took me like, I don't know, an hour to read maybe. So like obviously there are definitely longer comics you could get into, but like that whole self-contained story, one of the best things that I have ever read, took me no time at all. And that is also a beautiful thing as somebody who also reads some mammoth books, which is going to bring us the great transition there into what I'm still working on. And that is Demon in White by Christopher Rucchio. This is book 3. And I'm just on a super hot streak with good things that I've been reading recently. Demon in White has been fantastic. I'm not super deep into it yet. I'm recording this Saturday night. Normally Sunday, I call it like my power reading day because it's normally just a day where I can get a lot of reading done. So I would expect to be much further along in Demon in White by the next time we talk in an Orange Chronicle. Hopefully done completely. That would really be awesome if I could be completely done. But Christopher Rocchio, I think I'm just obsessed with the series, head over heels. Buying that gala ticket before I was even done with book 2 has been a great idea because it is definitely something that I'm so excited for now. Even at this point, if I finish this book and really like it as much as I feel like I'm going to, as I am right now, and the rest of the books I read are half as good, it is still an all-time series for me, which I think really puts into perspective, how I'm feeling about this. So obviously can't say too much because spoilers and it's book 3, all this stuff, but just know that Sun Eater is absolutely everything that I hoped and wanted it to be, and maybe even more. I still think about some of the stuff that happened in Howling Dark, and I'm just like, wow, that was special. And so I'm hoping, I've heard like the stuff that happens in this book is also crazy. There's some crazy stuff happening right now. Uh, you know what? I can't even say it because it's just too much of a spoiler. But it's still early on, so I mean, we'll see what happens. But I'm like every time I'm doing something that is not really reading Demon in White right now, I'm just like, I could be reading Demon in White. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts. Football is starting, so like I'm all into football, and I listen to a lot of sports podcasts about it. And very recently, I've just been like, yeah, I don't really care about that podcast right now. I want to listen to Sun Eater. And so it has just been, an absolutely amazing experience. And so I will definitely continue on to reading that. And I also hope to pick up this comic. This is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is loosely going to be what the new Supergirl in the DC universe is going to be based on. Apparently, she's going to be a little bit more like this. So this is, again, another Tom King comic. I was talking to Shay from Zachary Shay, and he told me to definitely pick this one up if I haven't, after we talked about Superman Up in the Sky, and I was trying to get him to read that. So definitely looking forward to that. Once again, this is another short self-contained story that is probably going to be amazing. Quick look at it. The art is not my favorite style, but still good. Comics is one of those things where even when the art style is not my favorite thing, I can still really appreciate the style that is going for. So hopefully this is fun. I'm expecting it to be. If the vibe that I got from the movie is going to be similar to this, I think it's just going to be a good time in general. And then the only other things that I'm hoping to pick up this week, so these are actually novellas or short stories, actually, I think, and these are the last 2 stories in the Wars of Light and Shadow the short stories I can read in the Wars of Light and Shadow by January before I start the next book, Grand Conspiracy, which I would like to do probably next week, because if I can finish both, it is the Reigns of Destiny and the Shuddering Star. If I can finish both of those this week, I can then go ahead and slowly make my way through Grand Conspiracy. Hopefully I can do it in time to be a part of the next discussion that Talking Story and Brian from BellTube are doing, and there's a bunch of people in it. Hopefully I can do that, but I normally read those books really slow, so it'll be hard to do, especially with Sun Eater really taking over right now. So we'll see. I read them in different mediums, which is normally something a little bit easier for me to do. And then just quickly on the what else I have been up to front, I had the awesome chance to be back on the Book Street Boys podcast, which is the Discord I am a part of. There are 10, I think there's 10 of us, or is it only 9 channels a part of it? Something like that. But that is the big Discord that I'm a part of. So if you join, it's not just for me. I have my own little space, but there's a bunch of people in there. It's an awesome time, a bunch of awesome booktubers in there. But I got to do that podcast. It was right at 2 hours. We were just at our time limit, but that was with Preacher Reads, Noel D, and Joanna from Joanna Reads, and then also David from Four Corners of the Page, and myself. That podcast is so much fun. If you want to hear basically just people talk about books, it's structured, has questions, you can skip around, all that fun stuff. I definitely recommend that you check it out. We kind of have a rotating guest list where Preacher kind of puts it all together, and then some of us from the Discord itself join, and then he gets guests, and he does a good job of organizing it and kind of running that for everything. And so that will be awesome. And then as you are watching this right now, if it is on Sunday still, I'm probably recording another video with It's Lit book reviews for The Wheel of Time, is what they call it, which is hilarious to me. But it is our discussions on The Wheel of Time, and we're going to be talking about Fires of Heaven, which is just a fantastic book. I mean, this is actually going to be the first one that I'm really curious on what they think about it, because I feel like this might be the first time, especially for Jesse, where it's not going to be his favorite one. Again, each book he has liked more and more, I think, and I think this might be the first one where it's not his all-time new favorite, but this is still a book that I like a whole lot, and anytime I get to talk about The Wheel of Time, it is just a fantastic experience, because it is my favorite fantasy series of all time, and so getting to do that is always a great time, and hanging out with them is always a blast. But that has been my week. Like I said earlier in the video, definitely let me know what you have been up to below. I would love to hear from you and see what you're doing, because everybody is out there reading cool stuff. You never know. I might pick up what you're reading if you can sell it to me. Or as always, join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. Got a lot going on over there, but it's still small enough that it's not too crazy, if you know what I mean. So, but that has been all for me. And remember to read what you want when you want.